Are you ready to hop on a cultural roller coaster across Ghana? From the Venice of Africa, to the Ashanti tribe decked out in gold from head to toe, to the famous coffin dance sending off loved ones in Coca-Cola-shaped coffins, to Ma Dove Village where women aren't allowed to give birth, or the Silent Tuesdays, Ghana is much more than cocoa and gemstones. It's a maze of taboos, unwritten rules, and cultural plot twists. Buckle up. 15. Culture shocks are about to be revealed, and you'll have to ask yourself, would you dare to experience them in person? Number 15. The Floating Village. Africa's Venice on Lake Tadane. Imagine sitting in a wooden canoe, gently drifting through palm-shaded canals in western Ghana. After about 28 miles on the water, or a 45-minute motorboat ride, a strange sight appears, an entire village floating on the lake. This is Nzulezo, a wooden stilt village in the middle of Lake Tadane, recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Nzulezo, in the Nzema language, means surface of the water. All the houses are built on tall wooden stilts, connected by narrow plank bridges only about 2 to 3 feet wide. There are no roads. Everything from shopping, taking kids to school, to visiting neighbors happens by canoe. People here have lived this way for over 500 years. Life in Nzulezo is a self-sustaining cycle. Residents fish right from the lake, make strong palm wine, and craft souvenirs from wooden palm leaves to sell to visitors. You'll see kids as young as 4 or 5 expertly paddling canoes, though they still wobble when walking on land. Even the elementary school and church are built on stilts, with Sunday morning hymns echoing across the water. Though material life is simple, many homes have tin or palm leaf roofs, and nighttime light comes mostly from oil lamps. The community has strict rules: absolutely no littering in the lake, and separate areas for drinking water, laundry, and fishing. This discipline keeps the lake so clean that on clear days, you can see fish swimming below the green surface. When you visit, locals will offer you a life jacket, take you through the wetlands, let you try paddling a canoe, sip palm wine, and maybe buy a handmade souvenir. But the most beautiful moment is at sunset. The fiery red sun sinks, turning the whole village and lake into a golden mirror. If you're in the U.S., imagine this as Africa's Venice. Number 14. Coffins that show people's last wishes. In many countries, funerals are solemn and quiet, like black-clad ceremonies in Europe or the tea and incense rituals in Japan. But in Ghana, especially in the Ga region, it's the complete opposite. Instead of traditional wooden coffins like in the US or UK, Ghanaians might be sent off in a shiny Mercedes-Benz, a giant cocoa pod, a bright red chili pepper, a shark, a camera, a Coca-Cola bottle, or even an airplane. Each shape tells a story, a message about the person's personality, job, or passion. It's a bit like how Mexico uses calaveras, sugar skulls, for Dia de los Muertos. But in Ghana, these artworks are 3-dimensional, and you can actually touch them. Funerals here break all the molds. Live music, dancing, feasting, drumming. Sometimes as lively as an Indian wedding or a street carnival in Brazil. The image of young men in black suits and sunglasses dancing while carrying a coffin went viral worldwide on TikTok as the coffin dance, turning Ghanaian tradition into a global meme, much like Gangnam Style did for Korea. Among coffin makers, Pa Joe is a legend. With over 50 years of experience, he chooses the best wood, crafts everything by hand, and his artworks cost from $5,000 to $15,000. Ordered by celebrities like former U.S. President Jimmy Carter or UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Even poor farmers earning less than $3 a day will save for a lifetime to order a custom coffin for about $1,000. Much like families in Italy or the Philippines spend big on weddings, no matter their income. Number 13. Women are forbidden to cross their legs. In traditional Ghanaian culture, especially in rural and conservative communities, women must sit properly in front of elders, with feet flat or slightly to the side. Crossing legs, especially the knee-over-knee style, is seen as too revealing, lacking modesty, and even disrespectful to elders. Some village elders believe this posture shows arrogance, as if you're sitting above others, so it's totally inappropriate for formal events like village meetings, weddings, or funerals. For young women, this is an unwritten rule learned from childhood. Many recall being corrected immediately if they cross their legs in front of grandparents. Today, in big cities like Accra or Kumasi, this rule is loosening, but in the countryside, it's still strictly followed as a sign of respect and good manners. Number 12. A refugee paradise in Africa. Imagine being a refugee in Africa. In many places, you're locked in a camp surrounded by barbed wire, given a bag of rice and a can of oil each month, not allowed to work or decide your future. But in Ghana, things are completely different. This West African nation hosts about 170,000 refugees, fewer than Uganda or Kenya. But the UN says it's one of the best places for refugees in the world. Here, refugees aren't locked up. Many rent homes in villages, open coffee shops in the morning, sell vegetables in the market in the afternoon, or drive taxis through dusty streets. They're allowed to buy land, build houses, open tailoring shops, or run repair garages. Their kids wear the same uniforms as Ghanaian students, sit in the same classrooms, and read the same textbooks. When sick, they go to local clinics like everyone else. In 2025, Ghana made headlines by instantly granting refugee status to over 9,600 people from Burkina Faso. No paperwork, no months of waiting like in other countries. In places like Ampan or Krisan, you'll see markets where refugees and locals trade together, share hot fufu, or laugh over a game of Ludo. Unlike Uganda, which gives land but keeps refugees in separate zones, or South Africa, which is wealthy but has discrimination, Ghana stands out for its freedom and refugee rights almost equal to citizens. The secret is Pan-Africanism, the belief that all people of African descent are family. So Ghana not only welcomes refugees, but gives them a real chance to start over. Number 11. Women carry loads on their heads. Amid the bustling crowds of Makola Market in Accra, the Kayaye girls stand out like everyday circus performers. On their heads, they balance enormous baskets piled high, with ripe yellow bananas, papayas, sweet potatoes, and sometimes even jugs of water weighing more than 45 pounds. All perfectly steady without using their hands. Occasionally, a hand reaches up to adjust the load, but the other remains free to carry extra bags, steady other goods, or collect payment from a customer. They are the market's human delivery service, weaving effortlessly through packed aisles, dodging elbows and baskets, never losing their remarkable balance. Most Kayaye are young women from poor rural villages who migrate to the city to make a living. With no formal education and no savings, they bring only their strength, endurance, and the balancing skills they've had since childhood. Their work starts at sunrise and continues until the market closes, earning just a few cedis per trip, enough to buy dinner or send a small amount back home. Even with sweat soaking their backs and legs aching from the weight, these women still flash bright smiles when delivering a load. For them, each completed trip is another day survived in a city that can be unforgiving. Their beauty lies not only in their deep, sun-kissed skin or the vibrant traditional dresses they wear, but in a quiet pride, the pride of being able to support themselves and their families, and the grace to carry more than 45 pounds on their heads while moving with elegance. Number 10. The village, where women can't give birth. In Ghana, there's a village of over 5,000 people where no one is allowed to be born. That's right, it's Mafidove in southern Ghana, where women are strictly forbidden to give birth in the village. For generations, locals believed that giving birth there would pollute sacred land. offend the gods, and bring bad luck to the community. So when labor begins, no matter how intense, women must be taken to another village to deliver. Only after the baby's umbilical cord falls off can mother and child return. Some, fearing a premature birth, are forced to leave a month or two early. Many women have faced dangerous complications because of this tradition. Mafi Dove is also known for two other taboos. No animals may be raised on the ground except birds, and no burials are allowed. According to legend, these three bans were set by the village founder, Hunter Togb Bewofa Akiti, after hearing a divine voice warning that only by following these sacred laws could the village remain peaceful. Today, even though the outside world has changed, Mafi Dove's elders still strictly enforce these rules, believing that giving birth in the village would anger the gods. However, younger women are increasingly demanding the right to give birth at home to avoid the dangers of traveling. Some clinics have opened on the village outskirts as a temporary solution, preserving the sacred law while reducing risk for mothers. But the question remains: when will Mafi Dove hear the first baby's cry on its own land? Number 9. The Gold Kingdom and Untold Treasures. Ghana is still called the Gold Coast, and in 2024, the country mined about 130,000 tons of gold, about 4.8 million ounces, leading Africa and expected to reach 5.1 million ounces in 2025. Gold makes up over 57% of export value, bringing in $11.6 billion to Ghana's economy in 2024, a 52.6% jump from the previous year. But besides gold, Ghana also has a mineral library of rare resources: manganese, bauxite, diamonds, even lithium, copper, nickel, and iron are being mined. By 2025, output is set to increase: manganese to 8 million tons, bauxite to 2 million tons, and diamonds to 400,000 carats. Mining is the heart of Ghana's GDP, but inequality remains. Despite all the mining, over 23% of the population still lives below the poverty line. In Savannah region, nearly 50% lack basic health care, education, and infrastructure. The average literacy rate is 79.1%, but the gap between rural and urban areas and between men and women is huge. Small-scale mines pollute drinking water with mercury and acid, destroy land, and the economic benefits rarely reach local communities. Number 8. No fishing on Tuesdays. In many coastal fishing villages in Ghana, Tuesday isn't a day for fishing. It belongs to the sea goddess. Fishermen believe that on this day, the sea goddess Ma leaves the deep ocean to walk the shore, visiting waters near the village and blessing the coming fishing season. Any fishing activity is strictly forbidden. Not a single boat goes out, no nets are cast. Breaking the rule isn't just seen as disrespectful to the gods, but can get you shunned by the whole community. Some villages require violators to pay a fine in cash, gin, or a goat, along with a ritual before they're allowed to fish again. This custom is believed to date back hundreds of years, when sudden storms and strong tides often hit on Tuesdays. The Gaya and Fante ancestors believed this was the goddess cleansing the sea, so people had to leave the ocean quiet. Some older fishermen say those who secretly went fishing on banned days came back empty-handed or faced danger. For visitors, it's a rare chance to see a silent fishing village. No engine sounds, just wind and a few boats resting on the sand, as if the whole ocean is holding its breath for the goddess to pass. If you're lucky, you might witness small ceremonies on the beach, where elders offer gifts, sing, and pray for a bountiful year. Number 7. Ghana is Africa's second most peaceful country. According to the 2022 Global Peace Index, Ghana is ranked the second most peaceful country in sub-Saharan Africa and 40th in the world out of 163 countries surveyed. This is impressive, considering many neighbors are still struggling with political instability, conflict, and crime. Ghana's stability comes from strong democracy, peaceful elections, a military that stays out of politics, and a gentle foreign policy. Ghana is also a major contributor to UN peacekeeping forces, strengthening its image as a peace-loving nation. For travelers, Ghana is one of Africa's safest destinations. Violent crime is low, guns are rare in public, and tourist spots like Cape Coast, Kumasi, or Mole National Park are well protected. Many have said that walking at night in Accra feels safer than in some big Western cities. Still, safety isn't guaranteed. Visitors should avoid carrying lots of cash or expensive jewelry in crowded markets. Use registered taxis or trusted ride apps. Be wary of bargain offers from strangers, and watch for strong currents at some beaches. Number 6. No dancing on New Year. If Ghanaian funerals are like a party, New Year's is the opposite. Ghanaians welcome the New Year by building palm leaf shelters in front of their homes and gathering family inside. But the key is emotion. If the past year was unlucky, they believe you must cry loudly on New Year's morning to wash away the bad luck. If the year was good, you can cheer and celebrate. The result? In many neighborhoods, the main sound on New Year's Day is crying and sobbing, since most people feel the year wasn't great. In coastal areas like Osu, the custom is even stricter. No music is allowed on New Year's Day to avoid upsetting the sea goddess Mahe. Sometimes this ban lasts until February, turning fishing villages into eerily quiet places, with only the sound of waves and wind. Tip for travelers: if you visit Ghana for New Year's, don't be surprised if you're greeted not by music and fireworks, but by tears. That's how they send off bad luck and welcome good fortune. Number 5. The chocolate country where farmers have never tasted chocolate. Ghana, known as the cocoa basket of the world, is currently the second largest producer globally, just after Ivory Coast, with an annual output of about 750,000 tons, accounting for nearly 20% of the world's cocoa market. Ghanaian cocoa beans are famous for their quality and are highly sought after by major brands like Mars, Nestle, and Cadbury. After being harvested, the beans are dried under the tropical sun and then quickly shipped abroad, exported to Europe and the US to be processed into expensive chocolate bars. But there's a paradox. Right in the homeland of this premium ingredient, many farmers have never tasted a single piece of finished chocolate in their entire lives. The bitter truth is that most of the cocoa is sold directly to foreign companies and very little is processed locally. Imported chocolate is simply too expensive. A small bar can cost as much as 2 or 3 days' wages for farmers, whose average income is only about $2 a day. In cocoa-rich regions like Ashanti or Western North, hard-working hands skillfully crack open the pods to collect the beans. But even they only know the slightly sour taste of fresh cocoa, never having experienced the sweet, melting flavor of chocolate. Number 4. Don't use your left hand. In Ghanaian culture, especially in traditional communities, the left hand is considered dirty, associated with personal hygiene and unclean tasks. So shaking hands, giving money, receiving gifts, eating, or even pointing at someone with your left hand is seen as extremely rude. Locals believe the left hand carries bad energy, and using it in social situations is like sending an insult. Even if you're left-handed, you're expected to use your right hand in all social interactions. Tip for travelers: if you're holding something in your left hand, quickly switch to your right before handing it to someone. This small gesture can help you avoid awkward looks and make a good first impression in Ghana. Number 3. African beaches turned into trash mountains. Can you believe there's a beach in Africa that looks like a global fashion graveyard? In Accra, Ghana's capital, beaches that were once white sand and rolling waves are now buried under mountains of soggy, rotting, stinking clothes. This isn't ordinary trash. It's the legacy of fast fashion, a $2.5 trillion industry with a huge environmental cost. Ghana is now the world's third-largest importer of used clothes. Every week, Tema Port receives up to 15 million pieces of second-hand clothing, mostly from the UK, US, and Europe. Locals call them Obroni Wawu, meaning dead white man's clothes. It sounds generous, but the truth is harsh. 40% of these clothes are unusable, ripped, moldy, or poor quality from fast fashion trends. Kanamanto Market in Accra, one of the world's largest used clothing markets, sees hundreds of tons of clothes change hands daily. Unsold items end up dumped in landfills, tossed into the Odaw River, and washed out to sea. The waves bring back not shells or seaweed, but tattered fabric, faded t-shirts, and rotting shoes. The irony is that, while it's called recycling, Ghana is really the end of the global consumption cycle. Cheap, short-lived Western clothes just make one last stop here before becoming massive waste, choking the habitat for fish, sea turtles, and birds. Number 2. The richest tribe in Africa. Can you believe there's a tribe in Africa where choosing a spouse depends on how much gold they wear? That's the Ashanti, the richest tribe on the continent, living in southern Ghana, the land of gold. With over 11 million people, the Ashanti are famous not just for vibrant culture, but for wealth that's almost inherited over centuries. Since the 17th century, the Ashanti Kingdom controlled Ghana's biggest gold mines and dominated the trans-Saharan trade routes, where gold was exchanged for salt, spices, and fabrics. Back then, gold wasn't just wealth, it was currency. The Ashanti even used gold dust for payments and to coat personal items. Today, at festivals, Ashanti people still show up dazzling, wearing gold bracelets, anklets, rings, beads, hats, pipes, ceremonial weapons, and even gold sandals. According to Ethnic Jewels magazine, among the elite, gold is everywhere, from fan handles to sword hilts, a symbol of status. What really sets the Ashanti apart is their matrilineal system, a rare structure in Africa. In Ashanti families, women make decisions about property, marriage, and inheritance. Children take their mother's name, and the next king isn't the king's son, but his sister's son. So when choosing a spouse, Ashanti look at how much gold the other person has, not just to show off, but to ensure that wealth flows into the mother's family, strengthening the clan. Number 1. No smelling food and the right hand eating rule. Did you know that in Ghana, just sniffing your soup can ruin the whole meal for everyone? In over 70% of traditional Ghanaian communities, smelling food in front of the cook is seen as accusing them of bad cooking. It's extremely rude, like openly insulting someone. One Ghanaian told the BBC that if a guest does this, the host might never invite them again. And if you think you can make up for it by eating anyway, remember another rule: eat with your right hand. Most people still eat dishes like fufu, banku, and kenke by hand. The left hand is considered dirty because it's used for personal hygiene, so if you use your left to take food or from a shared plate, you'll be seen as disrespectful. Tip for travelers: if you want to smell your food, do it discreetly when no one's looking. And when eating traditional dishes, wash your hands well, use your right hand, and follow the locals. That's the quickest way to earn points with your host. You've just taken a whirlwind tour of Ghana. Which fact shocked you the most? Or do you know any other unbelievable but true secrets we missed? Share them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because our next videos will explore even more intense taboos around the world. If you enjoyed this, give us a like and share the link with a fellow explorer. See you next time.